People in America are 10 times more likely to be killed by guns than in any other developed country in the world. Does it have something to do with the fact that there are more guns in America than there are people? Or maybe the easy access that everybody has to them? I come from a gun-owning family. We all have our firearm safety certifications and are part of the 36% of gun owners who use them mainly for hunting or sporting purposes, according to Gallup in 2013. We do not own any assault rifles or even pistols, seeing no need for them with those weapons being made for use on people. Although I exercise my Second Amendment right by owning guns, I do not feel like I have the need for any protection guns or even any high-capacity magazine guns. Gun control is one of the hottest topics in politics right now due to the amount of mass shootings and overall gun deaths in America over the last few years and even months. There are many people who argue that gun control has gone far enough and people need guns for protection, and if you take away the guns, the only people who have the guns will be criminals. And I think that while those statements hold some truth, there is a great amount of misunderstanding with them. I think that if the government took away guns with high-capacity magazines, semi-automatic and automatic weapons, or at least made background checks more thorough, that they would be harder to obtain, this would greatly reduce the amount of gun deaths overall in America. People argue that they need guns for protection or a sense of security, and 74% of the time, criminals seek vacant houses in fear of being shot by the victim of the robbery, according to the Department of Justice in 1997. But in actuality, houses with guns for protection are less safe than those without. A gun for protection in a house would not be useful unless it was readily available, meaning if it was locked in a safe and someone came to rob your house, it would be hard to get that gun out in time to have it be useful. But if it is readily available, then kids or people without gun training can have easy access to it. According to Kellerman in 1998, unintentional shootings are 4 times more likely than legitimate defense shootings in houses with guns. And when a child or teen is killed by a gun, 72% of the time, the gun was from their own home. In 2012, there was just 1 justified killing for every 32 suicides, murders, or accidental deaths, according to Martel in 2015. The other argument that people often use is, if you take away the guns, only the criminals will have guns. And as Marco Rubio often exclaimed in his 2015 run for the presidential office, my skepticism about gun laws is that criminals don't follow the law. This means that criminals would have easy access to guns on the black market trade or in the streets. When Australia made owning guns illegal after the Port Arthur massacre in 1994, they did not deter people from having guns. Instead, the laws paved the way for an illegal gun trade in Australia that police admit that they could not eradicate, according to Vespa in 2016. But this reasoning does not really make a lot of sense. With this logic, why would you even have any gun laws in the first place? Or any laws in the first place if criminals were just going to break them? After the Oklahoma City bombing in 1995, legislation made it harder for citizens to buy bomb-making material and a lot easier for law enforcement to monitor purchases of these materials. This led terrorists to largely abandon bomb-making and start using guns in the U.S. The Parkland school shooter was able to legally buy a gun at age 19. He made threats on social media, had been expelled from school, and bragged about killing animals. He had even been treated for mental disorders in the past. And after the FBI was tipped off that he was making these terroristic threats, they failed to do anything. In February of 2018, he walked into his former school, killed 14 students, 3 staff members, and injured 17 others. That style of gun was used in recent mass shootings, including Sutherland Springs, Texas, with 25 fatalities, Las Vegas, with 58 fatalities, Orlando, with 49 fatalities, San Bernardino, with 14 fatalities, and Newton, Connecticut, also known as the Sandy Hook shooting, with 26 fatalities, all of which the shooters had legally obtained guns. The gun used in the Sandy Hook shooting had a retail value of about $1,000 to $2,000, but on the streets or the black market, that gun would cost between $5,000 and $10,000. This does not mean the shooter would not have been able to get it, but it would have made it a lot harder for him and a lot less likely. Making these high-capacity assault rifles illegal, or even making background checks more thorough, would be a step in the right direction for America. Although it still might not make it impossible for criminals to obtain these guns. I think it is a myth that criminals and psychopaths would still have an easy time getting their hands on these guns used in mass shootings. With so many gun-related deaths in America, gun control needs to be heightened. People argue they need them for protection, and people argue you can't take them away from criminals. But there is no reasonable excuse for doing nothing to end the killing of innocent Americans. Whether we make them harder to obtain or illegal completely, these weapons made to kill cannot discriminate between good and evil, and we need to change something to get them out of the bad people's hands.